Ever wake up feeling tired even after you've had 7 hours of sleep? Well, according to doctors, it's a sign that you're not getting enough rest. And by rest, I mean physical and psychological rest. And Singaporeans are not getting enough of either. In today's Living Well segment, my colleague Akshita Nanda has written about the importance of rest. Some signs to look out for if you're lacking rest include symptoms from headaches and fatigue to anxiety and mood swings. Let's get tips on how to get some much needed rest from Dr. Victor Kwok, Senior Consultant Psychiatrist with Private Space Medical. Welcome to the show, Doctor. Doctor, the pandemic has made work from home the norm for many people. How much has that contributed to the additional stress and pressures faced by Singaporeans?
Actually, studies found that 60% of people work from home are very stressed, even higher than frontline workers like me. And I think some of the main problems is that they have to juggle work, juggle their household chores and looking after their kids at the same time. And for some of us, we may not have enough personal space at home when everybody's working at home at the same time. So there's also this issue where we actually blur the lines between work hours and off work hours. Because when you are really working from home, there's really no set time where you are knocking off. So your boss may email you at night and you might feel obliged to reply. In addition, we're also using the same space that we rest and the same space for work. So there's this blurring of line between our physical and our psychological spaces for work and sleep. So sometimes we may associate the sleeping areas with the negativity of work. And all this can attribute to the stress of working from home.
Doctor, when we talk about rest, it does not only include sleeping and napping. What are the other types of rest that people have to ensure that they get?
Besides physical rest, actually psychological or mental rest is something that is much neglected. Psychological rest is actually taking breaks from our worries and the stressors of daily lives. And this can mean actually spending time doing things that bring us joy. A metaphor would be the flight safety video where, the oxygen mask, when the oxygen mask drop down, they actually advise the parents to put on their mask first before they put on their kids. So the same logic applies, is that we need to show this kindness to ourselves first and make sure we are well taken care of before we can look after other people. Unfortunately, many people are very industrious, they're very hardworking, and they spend a lot of time looking after their family members and they neglect themselves. So I think it's a very important reminder that we need mental rest for ourselves as well. And this mental rest can be something that is as simple as, just taking breaks from work and doing things that are important to us, that makes our life more meaningful. This can be leisure activities like playing computer games, or even like internet shopping or exercising, or whatever you want to do, not something that you are doing just to distract yourself. Other ways of mental rest could be spending more time with loved ones, spending time with people who love us, and sharing our problems. These are various ways that we can look after ourselves besides just sleep.
Now, I often hear people say they don't get enough sleep during the week, but will make up for it during the weekend. Does it work like that, Doctor? Or is it a misconception that you can make up for lost sleep or to pay off your sleep debt, as it were?
Actually, we do use this term called the sleep bank. So to some extent, it's true. If you didn't sleep well for one night, like you are burning the midnight oil, the next day you can actually pay back your bank account by sleeping a bit more. However, the problem is when we are chronically sleep deprived, which is a very common problem in Singapore. In a lot of international surveys, we are always ranked number one when it comes to not getting enough sleep. And when you are always owing the bank money, then you're going to get compound interest, bad ratings, and you may not be able to apply for a new credit card. So the same applies when we are always sleep deprived. It affects our mental function. Our memory will become poorer. We will find it harder to think in the abstract manner. We are less quick on our toes. And in the long term, it can even increase the risk of dementia. Other problems with being sleep deprived chronically is that it can affect your physical health. People do complain of more pain symptoms like having more gastric pain, having more headache, and it can also lead to an increase in appetite due to changes in our hormones. So on the long term, actually, if you are only just skipping sleep for 1 or 2 nights is okay. But the problem is not to do it regularly and to really prioritize sleep. So we had a campaign a few years ago in Singapore called Sleep an Hour More. I think that's really important, where people need to remember that sleep is very important. It's better to sleep early and then just wake up early the next day to do what they need to do.
Dr. Kwok, thank you so much for the advice and for taking time off to speak with us. Dr. Victor Kwok, Senior Consultant Psychiatrist with Private Space Medical at Farrer Park Hospital. It can be tricky to find time for rest in our busy lives. My colleague Akshita Nanda has written about her own experience on why trying to rest can get exhausting. You can read all about it at str.sg/livingwell.